Hi, this video was created a few weeks ago towards the end of December, and I have been working on it ever since then. Due to the holidays and due to the fact that I was very busy, I have been taking time off in editing this video. So a couple of things that I'm gonna say were based on what was happening then. And ever since the time that I made this video, things have actually progressed a lot faster and the adoption rate of Bitcoin has actually accelerated. So as I was making this statement, Bitcoin sits at $40,000. The time I was making this video just a few weeks ago, Bitcoin was at $23,000. So things have accelerated much in this space and adoption rate has gotten higher ever since then. Now, everything I say in this video is just my opinion. Don't take it as financial advice. Contact your financial advisor, do your due diligence before you buy a crypto asset. Since I have never made a video like this, it took a while for me to actually edit it and finding the right footage and finding the right sources to bring to you guys. So let me know what you think about the video, if you like this kind of video, if you like this kind of presentation, so that I can continue doing it this way for you guys. With that being said, let's get started with the video. If you're keeping dollar, if you're keeping naira, if you're keeping pounds, whatever currency you're keeping, you're pretty much guaranteed that in the very near future, you're gonna go broke. No fiat currency has ever succeeded. So this is why Bitcoin exists. And one may ask, what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is often described as a cryptocurrency or a virtual currency. What is a cryptocurrency? Well, a cryptocurrency is a type of currency which uses digital files as money. Usually the files are created using the same methods as cryptography, which in this case is the science of hiding information. So basically, your phone, your laptop, the internet, everything on these platforms I just mentioned uses digital files. There is nothing physical about them. You cannot touch the file on your laptop, you cannot touch the file on your phone, you cannot touch the file on the internet. It's all digital. Same thing goes for the cryptocurrency. A currency which uses digital files as money is a cryptocurrency. So a currency that only exists on the internet, that only exists on your phone, that only exists on your laptop is a cryptocurrency. So now that we have established what a cryptocurrency is, we have basically established what Bitcoin is. So Bitcoin is a type of cryptocurrency. So basically, Bitcoin is a digital file that is seen and valued as money. So what can cryptocurrencies be used for? Well, since it's money, it can be used to buy goods and services online or offline. Alright, so now that we've got all that, so why is Bitcoin important? What makes Bitcoin special? Well, before going into why it's important, we need to first understand what money is and its evolution. Back in time, goods were exchanged through barter, where value is exchanged between two people based on what they both have and are willing to part with. The problem with that was that it was inefficient, and then later on we moved to having gold and silver coins, and then after that we then moved on to paper money. Now everything I've just mentioned worked totally fine until it didn't. So I'm just going to quickly mention to you the downside of each one and why it has brought us down to where we are right now. So back when it was barter, the problem was that if you had a cow and that was all you had, but you wanted a gallon of oil, it would be too much of a bargain to exchange. Except if the person was willing to give you gallons of that oil, it wouldn't be a good deal for you, being that the person just only had 1 gallon of oil. And the reason why this didn't work was because of the cow can't be divided into a smaller part that would then be on par to exchange with a gallon of oil. Because in order for you to do this, that means the cow would have to be dead and then it can't produce milk or whatever it does for you anymore. So it made sense that over time, trade by barter would soon become a thing of the past. And then over time, we moved on to gold and silver, and gold and silver were much better to use as they were very easily divisible, portable, and also had a good store of value among other attributes. But they had problems then as well because they all weighed differently and had to get weighed for each purchase that one had to make, which wasn't ideal. And also, in addition to that, the government then also debased their currency as well. Basically, what this meant was that the government put in less and less gold into a coin, which decreased the concentration of silver and gold in a coin, and then obviously just made it less valuable over time. After that, we moved on to paper currency, and even with that, it was backed by gold. Now, if you know gold, it's valuable, finite, and a rare asset. Dollars in this case was being backed by gold, and being the reserve currency meant that for every dollar that you held could be exchanged for gold. And this was actually great because it meant that your money was a store of value, meaning that if you had $100 today, 10 years from now it will remain the same due to the fact that gold is finite and rare and can't be created. This meant that it would not lose its value. And also, since for every dollar that exists there's a gold to back it up, means that the government can't just print more money to cause inflation. Because I'm pretty sure you understand the rule of supply and demand. When you have more stuff in excess, it means the prices go down because it's excess. But when the supply is capped, you know that the prices rise up because it gets scarce as more people want it. Gold is not as much as paper. So since you can't just print more gold, or you can't just create more gold, it means that the prices are going to remain pretty much stable, or at least even rise up in price. So this is why it made sense that it was backed in gold, because by it being backed in gold, it will maintain a stable and high value. Anyways, after being on the gold standard for a while, the US went off the gold standard in 1971, which meant that officially gold was no longer tied to the dollar anymore. And from that point forward, it was no longer going to be money, but instead fiat currency. And what fiat currency means is money based on faith. So I give you this $1, you're taking it on faith that this $1 is actually worth what I say it's worth, and you can use it to go and purchase goods and services. That's what fiat currency means. Money based on faith, not backed by anything. And this action of printing more money has been devaluing and decreasing your purchasing power, and this is being done around the world by governments since 1971. So since 1971, all the governments of the world have been printing away your wealth. If you're wondering why things are much more expensive than they were then, it's not that those items are actually expensive, it's just that they are rising to match with the inflation. It's that your purchasing power has diminished, which means that you would need more money to buy the same thing. So if you bought something for 10,000 naira last year, and then this year it increased to 13,000 naira, it's not that those people just decided to make it 13,000 naira. It's that the government has inflated the currency to the extent that those guys, in order for them to make profit, they need to actually increase the price of that item to match with the inflation. This is why things keep increasing in price, because your government keeps printing more money. And the more money that's in circulation, the less valuable it is. And those people who suffer from it is me and you who hold any amount of currency that we have in our bank. So at this point, what we need is an asset that not only has the value of money, but also is decentralized and can't be controlled by the government in any way, where they keep printing more money, which is basically stealing your wealth from you. This is why Bitcoin exists, to be able to give you back that power that no one can take from you ever. Alright, so a quick recap before we continue. So it has been established that Bitcoin is a digital currency or a cryptocurrency. And a cryptocurrency is basically a currency that uses digital files as money, so which means it's entirely virtual. You can use this currency to buy goods and services, and this currency is kept secured by strong cryptography for secure online transactions. And with the evolution of money, we went from barter to gold and silver, and from gold and silver straight to paper. And what we can learn from all that time is that governments can't be trusted to keep the value of your money, because even before we went to pure currency, we're actually being backed by gold. So when the government saw that they were limited to how much money they could print, they took us off the gold standard, which effectively started diminishing our purchasing power, because they have been printing more money ever since then. If you're keeping dollar, if you're keeping naira, if you're keeping pounds, whatever currency you're keeping, you're pretty much guaranteed that in the very near future you're gonna go broke. No fiat currency has ever succeeded. So how does Bitcoin work? Well, in a layman's term, Bitcoin is nothing more than a mobile app or computer program that provides a personal Bitcoin wallet and allows a user to send and receive Bitcoins with them. So you install an app on your phone or you install an app on your PC, and then you can be able to receive Bitcoin on that wallet on your computer or on your mobile phone. So you have to think about it in a way like, what is money? Money is what we as people make of it to be. Back in the day, it was exchanging what I had for what you had. So that is trade by barter. So what you had at that point or what I had at that point was money, and I was willing to give it to you in exchange for what you have. So basically we went all the way to paper currency, and paper currency was what everybody decided was going to be money. Well, in this case, money is now digital files on your phone. So if I download a mobile app on my phone, that means that I can receive money, in this case, which is Bitcoin, and then send money, which is also Bitcoin, on that mobile phone or on my laptop or wherever. You can think about it like internet banking. So when you log into your internet banking app, you see a bunch of numbers that represent your current balance, and then you can send that money to somebody else, and that person can use that money to buy something or do whatever they need to do. That is exactly what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is just an internet banking app that you can use to receive money. In this case, instead of it being naira or instead of it being dollars, it's Bitcoin. It's actually money. But in a larger sense, Bitcoin operates on a public ledger called the blockchain. This blockchain stores all the transactions ever made on the network. The ledger can't be controlled or edited by any one person, but it can be seen by everyone. Meaning, if I send you $10 worth of Bitcoin, it's going to show on the ledger, and you can't say that I didn't send it to you because everyone else, including me, can see that I sent that money to you. But that doesn't mean that my information is also on the ledger. The blockchain network is pseudonymous, meaning that when you have a Bitcoin wallet, only your public key is displayed on the blockchain, and the public key is just a bunch of random numbers and letters linked to your wallet. So basically, if you don't tell people that this bunch of random numbers and letters are linked to your wallet, nobody knows, and you'll just be one of the tens of millions of transactions on the public ledger. So basically, what this means is that since there is now a public ledger that stores all the information and all the transactions ever made on the Bitcoin network, there really is no need for a bank anymore, because a bank actually stores a ledger of all its transactions. So if I send you 10,000 naira, the bank has information that I sent you 10,000 naira. But in this case, since we now have a public ledger, I don't really need that bank anymore, because if I sent you 10,000 naira worth of Bitcoin, it's going to show on the public ledger that I did send you 10,000 naira worth of Bitcoin. I can see it, you can see it, every other person on the blockchain network can see it. So which means every other user of Bitcoin can see that I sent you that money. This is why blockchain is very, very important, and it's a very important technology. All right, so who controls the Bitcoin network? No one single person owns the Bitcoin network, much like no one owns the technology behind email. Bitcoin is controlled by all the users around the world. Because the public ledger, also known as blockchain, exists, there is no need for a middleman like the bank, government, because all transactions made on the network are verified by its users, which makes it very hard to be dubious on the network. Because of this, for the first time ever, you're your own bank and you have full custody of your money because your wallet is on your phone or on your laptop. The advantage of this is that the fees are very minuscule compared to what you will get in a bank. You get an instant transaction, so which means if I send the money now, you're getting it right away. Borderless transactions, which means Bitcoin basically sees no border, it sees no country, it doesn't see any jurisdiction. You send money from here to Iran, the person gets it instantly. And also, you're not affected by the inflation of your currency. To give you an idea, the average inflation rate around the world is 3.5%. And then in Nigeria, the inflation rate is about 13%. Meaning that if you keep your money in your Naira bank account and let it sit, you are losing approximately 13% of your wealth this year alone. And the average for the past 10 years have been around 12%. So this pretty much means that if you kept 100,000 naira in your bank account, by year 7, year 8, you've pretty much lost the total value of your 100,000 naira in your account already. So basically the 100,000 naira is going to remain the same in figure, but everything around you has increased in price already by approximately the inflation rate. You will need to spend approximately 13% more this year. This is how your wealth is stolen without your knowledge, and having control of your money and knowing that there will never be more of it is very important and really empowering. There will only ever be 21 million bitcoins produced, and the last bitcoin ever will be produced in the year 2140. Over 100 years from now. And every 4 years leading on to that, the amount of bitcoin produced every year will be cut in half. This deflationary measure also helps in keeping bitcoin rare and increases the value of the coins presently in circulation. And what keeps pushing the prices higher is that the government of the world keep printing more money, which devalues their currency, but does the opposite for Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is basically the opposite of every currency in the world. Alright, why should you be concerned about this? This should concern you because the world is in a very uncertain time right now. And within the next few years, we're really going to start seeing the effects of 2020. People can't get to work anymore or fend for themselves, and the government has had to step in all over the world and in most cases crank up the printing machine and print more money. This only provides a short-term relief for the citizens, but the citizens, which is in this case you and I, are still going to pay for this, and we're going to pay a very hefty price for this. This is why it's very important for you that in order for you to preserve your wealth, a portion of it should go or should be in a deflationary or rare asset that would appreciate in tandem to your currency that is inflationary. If you don't do this, you're guaranteed to lose your purchasing power every day because your wealth is being inflated away. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is that if you don't get into a deflationary asset, or if you don't make more than your country's inflation, so if your country, like for example in Nigeria, the inflation rate is 13%, if you don't get your money into an asset that gives you a return of over 13 to 14% as at the year 2020 when I'm recording this, you are guaranteed to be on the losing side. So basically what you should do is invest in a deflationary asset like Bitcoin, or invest in stocks, companies, or whatever you want to do to be able to yield you over the inflation rate of your country. And I speak for my country, which is really bad. 13% is a lot. It's very simple. It's all supply and demand. If there is more of something, the less valuable it is. If there's less of something and everybody wants it, the more valuable it is. Alright, so what are the smart ones doing about this? Well, the smart ones are stocking up on as much Bitcoin as they can get their hands on, because they know that time is fast approaching when paper currency is going to be totally worthless, because all fiat currencies in history have all gone down to zero. No fiat currency in history has ever remained relevant. Everything has gone down to zero, simply being because the government keeps printing, which inevitably makes it worth nothing. So no matter where you are, no matter where you live, your currency will inevitably in the near future go down to zero. And this has even been accelerated by the pandemic. Alright, so I'm going to give you a few examples of those people who have actually started stocking up on Bitcoin for as much as they can. Alright, so this is one of the companies. It's called MicroStrategy, and this company, they've actually done this already. So they made a purchase of $400 million worth in Bitcoin. So mind you, everything I'm going to be giving you here in this news are just a few things. This is just like a tip of the iceberg, right? An example. I'm just showing you an example of people that are actually starting to take advantage of the Bitcoin's price right now and are starting to buy Bitcoin, right? So this company right here, MicroStrategy, they made a purchase of about $400 million, and then not too long after that, this was about a few weeks ago, A week later, they also made a purchase of about $650 million worth in Bitcoin, right? So right now they hold about $1.6 billion worth in Bitcoin. The amount of Bitcoin produced on a daily basis is about 900 or is 900. And Cash App and PayPal, they've been buying up all the Bitcoin on a daily basis. What this news is saying here right now is that Cash App now lets customers get Bitcoin back on purchases. So if you made a purchase and then you're supposed to get money back, instead of paying you in the United States dollar, you can get that money in Bitcoin if you want. So what all these few news that I'm showing you right here now should tell you is that these guys know something is about to happen. These guys know that there's about to be a change. Before these guys start spending billions of dollars buying Bitcoin, they know that something is already afoot. There's something happening, or something very, very soon is going to happen, right? They know that the world global monetary system as it is right now is about to collapse, and we're about to have a new type of monetary system. And I call it that Bitcoin is going to be that new system. Of course, this is not a financial advice. I'm not advising you to invest your money in Bitcoin. I'm not advising you to invest your money in any of these companies. Obviously, do your own research and due diligence before you actually get into this cryptocurrency or this kind of assets. But you should know one thing is that all fiat money, all fiat currency goes to zero. All fiat currency eventually goes to zero, and the pandemic has already accelerated that already to happen sooner than later. Governments around the world are printing money and are printing it as fast as they can, and that is accelerating inflation rate at a very, very high pace. If you're not holding Bitcoin, or if you're not holding an asset that is deflationary in nature, that isn't affected by any economical disadvantage, if you're not holding any asset like that, you are going to be on the losing side when that time comes. And things are starting to happen really, really fast now that time is definitely here. Learn about cryptocurrencies, invest in them, see how you can invest in them. Obviously, do your due diligence, like I said, but make sure that you learn about them, and at least if you're not going to invest in them, at least you know about them. If you don't know about Bitcoin, learn about Bitcoin today. I'm going to have in the description below all the sources that I used to make this video and many more helpful sources that can help you get started in understanding the cryptocurrency market. So definitely head to the description below and get started. Now in my next video, I'm going to be letting you guys know how to actually go ahead and buy Bitcoin. So you can buy Bitcoin with any amount that you have. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do it in my next video. So make sure you stay tuned for that, because that will be coming out very, very soon. Anyways, that's it for this video. For more videos like this, click on the subscribe button below and click on the notification bell right next to it. I release new videos every week and you'll be the first to be notified when that happens. And if you'd like to support this channel through Bitcoin or any other means, ways to do that are going to be in the description below. So I thank you very much for that, and I will see you guys soon. Cheers.